What's up, man? I want to talk about Errol Spence, man. This dude is the Road Runner, man. Y'all remember that Road Runner cartoon with Road Runner and Bugs Bunny? Road Runner running fast as I don't know what. And that's what Errol Spence is, man. He talking all this business talk. He don't want to fight. See, look, he page out of Mayweather's book. I'm gonna tell y'all how. I'm gonna tell y'all how he's taking a page out of Mayweather's book. Sit back, get comfortable. Y'all remember when Mayweather when Pacquiao was, and it's it's kind of similar in some ways how Terence Crawford moved up, in weight. Terence Crawford came from 130, won a title at 130. I believe he did win his title at 130. I think he only won one at 130. He won two, I believe, at 135, and he was undisputed at 140. Now he gets to 147, and he wins a title at 147. And it's kind of like how Manny Pacquiao, who came from a little bit of a lighter weight classes, and came up the ranks and came to 147, and became a threat to Floyd Mayweather as far as popularity and selling pay-per-views and fighting all these big fights. And y'all remember how Mayweather said that he had to take a test, because how can you run through Cotto like that? How can you run through Margarito like that? How can you, beat Shane Mosley in the fashion you beat Shane Mosley in? How can you beat De La Hoya in the fashion you beat De La Hoya in? At the time, you know, hindsight is 2020. Everybody said De La Hoya was drained, but at the time, everybody was looking at that as a crazy win because the way he was able to stop De La Hoya, and De La Hoya retired on his stool. And kind of like how how Terence Crawford is doing, and then Mayweather also used to make comments like Bob Arum is still in still is not promoting Pacquiao right. Pacquiao's not making enough money, and it's that same talk with Earl Spence when he talks about Terence. Now he's saying Terence should be upset that Lomachenko is getting more push than him. Bob Arum is not he's not making enough money and all this stuff. He's talking about all this except for the fight. And I don't care about none of that. I just care about, do you want to fight Terence Crawford? Now, Leonard Ellaby came out and said that fight is not going to be made right now. Leonard Ellaby's he was he was saying a lot of things in that interview. He contradicted himself a lot in the interview. First, he said the woman asked him, "Who would you like to see Earl Spence fight next?" He said, "I would like to see Earl Spence fight whoever Earl Spence wants to fight." Okay, then she said, "Okay, so what about Terence Crawford versus Earl Spence?" He said, "Oh, that fight is not gonna happen. That fight is not gonna happen." And she said, "Why?" He said, "Who wants to see that fight?" I'm like, Leonard Ellaby, dude, have you been connected to boxing? Everybody wants to see that fight. And to me, that was a weird exchange right there because it seemed like Leonard Ellaby was like, in one breath he was saying that Earl Spence can do what he want to do. Then in the next breath he was saying that no, we're controlling what Earl Spence do. That's why I keep on telling people that Earl Spence is not his own boss, like he says he's his own boss. You know what I'm saying? Leonard Ellaby is in place for one reason only, because of Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather has a lot of influence on the PBC, more than what people think. Do y'all think when Mayweather signed with Showtime, you know what I'm saying, that he was not going to get back end money on a lot of other things other than his fight, on a lot of other future fights that he was not even going to be in? Of course he did. Of course he set it up like that, because he even said in an interview months ago that him and Al Heyman are partners. And Al Heyman is trying to run every fighter that he has at the top of the list. I'm gonna say, like, not Adrian Broner so much because he lost so much. I'm not saying Adrian Broner. I'm gonna say Keith, uh, and not even Keith in so many ways, because I can break down how Keith has been put in some tough fights. You know what I'm saying? I remember the Diego Chavez fight. You know what I'm saying? The Leonard Bundu fight. Y'all got to say that was a tough fight now because everybody giving Earl Spence a whole lot of credit for beating Leonard Bundu, but you know, Keith beat him first. and beat and fighting Shawn and fighting he fought Shawn, he fought Danny Garcia. But it seemed like they trying to run that establishment how they did Mayweather career. Have fighters fight and the ones that they're trying to push. And I think Errol Spence is the guy that's going to be the next guy that they trying to push. It was supposed to be Adrian Broner. Then it went to Keith Thurman. Then Keith Thurman got hurt, was out for 2 years. Now it's Errol Spence. If you look at how Errol Spence, career has been going so far, he has not had he has not faced another guy his size that was considered a fighter. Not Leonard Bundu. It wasn't Chris Algieri. As good as Mikey Garcia was in lower weight classes, it wasn't him. He was moving up to 147. It wasn't Lamont Peterson. Now he is reported that he's supposed to be fighting Shawn Porter in September. So that will be his first a quote unquote A list fighter. You know what I'm saying? It would be Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter, his last couple fights, Shawn Porter, other than the his I say his within his last three fights, that Adrian Granado's fight, he came back and looked good in the Danny Garcia fight, but he looked good in that fight. I thought he looked good in that fight. And then he came back in this fight with the Cuban kid. I'll get his name, Ugas. He didn't look good in that fight. You know what I'm saying? So, and I always said that Shawn Porter is slowing down anyway. It's Sean. To me, Shawn Porter looked best. The best Shawn Porter of the last 2 or 3 years was when he fought Keith Thurman. That was the best Shawn Porter. He took a lot of hard. People don't. If you go back and look at that fight, Shawn Porter took a lot of hard shots in that fight. I'm talking about clean shots. And it's reported that he had to go to the hospital after that for concussion. Because y'all remember, Shawn Porter did not do any interviews after that Keith Thurman fight. He did not one interview. I think they talked to him inside the ring briefly, but he did no interviews after that. After that fight, no post fight. He didn't show up to the post fight or nothing like that. So, my thing is this: that will be his first test, and the way they talking is he's not gonna fight Terence Crawford no time soon. Now Terence Crawford is what, 3 years older than Errol Spence, I believe, like 2.5 years older than Errol Spence, and Mayweather, he understands boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like very few do in today's climate, and he understands that Terence Crawford is a problem for Errol Spence right now. Let's see if he can slow down. Let's see if we can slow him down some. Let's see. Let's wait and see if we see him slow down. You know what I'm saying? Being a couple tough back and forth fights or something like that. Let's just wait him out. And let's while he's doing that, we'll let you fight Shawn Porter. Maybe get Keith Thurman to get that title. I see what they trying to do. You know what I'm saying? And one thing in boxing is you can't have a definite plan in boxing. Boxing is so fight by fight. It's really a fight by fight basis, like really, because your stock can go up and down in any fight. You can lose, and you can have a loss somewhere. You can win and still lose. What I mean by that is you can win the fight, but you can be in such a tough grinding fight that you lose something physically. So boxing is not a sport that you can plan. Like you can't say in 2 years from now, Earl Spence and Terence Crawford will still be undefeated, because that's what Leonard Ellaby was alluding to. But he wasn't saying about Earl Spence. What he said if y'all believe that Terence Crawford is what y'all say he is, then he's gonna keep winning. So their plan is probably to fight Terence Crawford is probably 2021. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Then Terence Crawford will be what, 34, going on 35. You know what I'm saying? They figure like, okay, now, you know what I'm saying, he's a little older, he's a little bit slowed down some. Now is the perfect time to get him. And then by that time, they are banking on that Earl Spence beats Shawn Porter, and he beats Keith Thurman, and now he got 3 titles, much like how Joshua has 3 titles, and to Deontay Wilder's one title. So they trying to say, well, if if Earl Spence gets three titles, then he's the A side. But nobody is saying that about Anthony Joshua's the A side to Deontay Wilder. You see how that works? Y'all see how that conflict is right there? How it doesn't make any sense because I already said that people will be going crazy that are hardcore Deontay Wilder fans that Deontay Wilder had three belts and Anthony Joshua had one, and people were saying that Anthony Joshua was the A side. People be like, no, no, Wilder's the A side. He has three titles. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't like that A side, B side stuff because people change their narrative of A side, B side. But anyway, that's what they're trying to do. But in boxing, you can't do that. And I think they're potentially messing up this fight, man. I think Terence Crawford is good enough 2 years from now that he's still undefeated. I don't think Errol Spence is good enough to say he's 2 years from now he's going to be undefeated because that Shawn Porter fight could be iffy. You know what I'm saying? That Shawn Porter fight, he can get in there and Shawn Porter can start, you know what I'm saying, roughing him up in ways that he's not used to. And I'm not saying skill wise. I'm saying like get in there and just dirty up the fight. That's what Shawn Porter is capable of doing. That's Shawn Porter at his best, muddying up the waters, dirtying up the fight. What if that fight is like a draw or something, or real close? Now they got to run it back. Now they got to run the fight back, and then he has to beat and he has to beat Keith Thurman. Like people think that these fights are just going to be so. Those two, Shawn Porter and Keith Thurman, is not easy fights for Terence Crawford either. Terence Crawford is not going to get in there and run through those guys. Those are tough fights, and people just automatically giving it to Earl. Oh, he gonna stop Shawn Porter, but he didn't stop Mikey Garcia though. But he gonna go in there and stop Shawn Porter, a strong Shawn Porter that comes to fight. I seen Shawn Porter on the canvas against Adrian Broner. I didn't see him on the canvas against anybody else. So he gonna go in there and he gonna stop Shawn Porter. I don't get it. I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that happening that way. I don't see him running through Keith Thurman, him or Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? It's most likely up in there that he's gonna lose to one of those guys. I mean, that's the most likely scenario that he's going to. If I had to bet my money, I would bet that even if Terence Crawford had to fight both of those guys, if I really had to bet money on, I say Terence Crawford probably gonna lose to one of those guys. Same thing I say about Errol Spence. He's probably gonna lose because those are two top level guys. They top level guys for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Either he gonna lose or he gonna have a tough fight to where physically he gets a lot taken out of him. He still wins the fight, maybe a close fight, but he gets a lot of physically he gets a lot taken out of him. But yeah, and Earl Spence the businessman now. He talking about I told y'all he's taking a page out of Mayweather book. He talking about how many pay per views he sold, 400,000. Now this is the one thing about pay per view that a lot of people get a misdiagnosis on. You have to really sit back and analyze this. No fighter is going to sell a lot of pay per views without a really good dance partner. Mikey Garcia was a really good dance partner for Earl Spence. Earl Spence didn't go out there and sell 400,000 pay per views on his own without the right dance partner. If that's the case, you could put Earl Spence on pay per view against anybody. You could have put Earl Spence. You could put Earl Spence on pay per view versus Adrian Granados, and he's going to sell 400,000. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to have the right dancing partner. Look at Mayweather's biggest pay per view sales. He had the right dancing partner. He had De La Hoya. He had Canelo. He had Pacquiao. He had McGregor. Those were all his big time pay per views, and then he had Miguel Cotto. Now look at Mayweather's lower pay per views when he had Berto. When he had Berto, he didn't sell. When he had Robert Guerrero, he didn't sell like he sold when he did against those top pay per views he sold with Canelo, De La Hoya, McGregor, because those was not the quality of a dance partner as those guys. So I don't want people to get on here and say, "Oh man, Earl Spence sold 400,000." No, he didn't sell 400,000 on his own. Now it's hard to split that up and say who sold this, who sold that, but Mikey Garcia was a Mexican undefeated fighter fighting in Texas against a local Texas fighter in Errol Spence. That was a perfect storm together with those two factors, and one is black and one is Mexican. We know black and Mexicans sell good pay per views. What's up, man? Black and Mexicans sell good pay per views when they are popular fighters on either side, and we know how that goes. So Errol Spence has the right dancing partner. If you put Errol Spence on pay per view with Adrian Granados, or you put him on pay per view with Ugis, I mean, he's not gonna sell 400,000, y'all. So just stop it. That's how you really see who sell. Just same thing with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao had his biggest pay per view sales when he fought Floyd, Miguel Cotto, and I believe he had a nice pay per view when he fought. It was decent when he fought Tim Bradley. You know what I'm saying? And Marquez, because we all know Marquez, him and Marquez got a history. So, but it's other pay per views that he didn't do too well in. So, um, like Brandon Rios, that wasn't a really good pay per view when he fought Brandon Rios. I believe he fought Clottey on pay per view. I'm not Joshua Clottey. I'm not sure. I think he fought Joshua Clottey on pay per view. But at any rate, those were not good pay per views. So you have to have the right dancing partner, and that's people that don't understand the ins and out of that stuff. They just gonna go make a video and say, man, Errol Spence sold 400,000 pay per views. Terence Crawford, he's the B side because Terence Crawford only sold. I think they said Terence Crawford sold on under 100 and under 200,000 pay per views. Like I said, you have to have the right dancing partner. If you get Terence Crawford, Mikey Garcia, maybe they would have sold 400,000. You know what I'm saying? You get Terence Crawford, Manny Pacquiao, they'll probably sell 400,000. You get Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao, he'll probably sell 400,000 because it's the dancing partner that you have with you that drives up the pay per view sales. You're not gonna carry a pay per view by yourself. Even Mayweather did not carry a pay per view by himself with a fringe opponent like Berto. I think that Berto pay per view was like 500 some thousand, even though that's good. You know what I'm saying? That's good. And he fought Berto, who was past everything. Berto was past his prime, and he sold 400,000. And you had Errol Spence fight Mikey Garcia in his prime. They both in their prime. They both undefeated, and Berto went undefeated, and they both undefeated. They only sold 400,000. So that shows you the power of the Floyd. His name was able to get another 100,000 pay per views, and that was it. Even with his name, so you have to have the right dancing partner. And Earl Spence, he has no interest in fighting. The man told Terence Crawford to go get a title and all this stuff. I'll fight you and all this. You know what I'm saying? All this sticking out your chest stuff. And then now when it's time to fight Terence Crawford, it's Bob Arum is not promoting you right. You didn't sell enough pay per views. See, this is all things that you can put, all barometers and all barriers you can put in front of a fight if you don't want to fight. You can talk about all these other things. You could talk about you on the wrong side of the street. You could talk about all this stuff. It's not gonna be 50-50 and all this stuff. Earl Spence or Terence Crawford is not go that fight is not going to get to the level of Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, or Canelo, Floyd Mayweather, or Guerrero. I mean, not Guerrero, or McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, because neither one of these guys are charismatic, outspoken enough, or have the personality for the pay per view to be that high. They just don't. Terence Crawford don't have that type of personality. Terence Crawford just he don't really like to do a whole lot of. He even said he don't like to do a whole lot of interviews. Earl sell a pay per view that outrageous. You know what I'm saying? Mayweather was able to sell a pay per view with De La Hoya because he was the outspoken bad guy. He was able to do it against Canelo. He was able to show his charisma with McGregor, even though McGregor helped a lot because McGregor was outspoken. You know what I'm saying? So neither one of these guys. This fight is not going to be lucrative as that fight. Not even close. Not even close. Because it's too many. It's a lot of streaming that's going on out here. There's too many ways to see the fight. Nobody is going to pay $150 or some outrageous number to see a fight, man. People gonna find ways to see a fight. So this fight is not going to be as big as they think it is in 2 years. Who knows in 2 years? You got Shakur Stevenson, them. You got Gervonta Davis. You got all these other young fighters. Who knows in 2 years, people attention may be on some other stuff, some other fighters. Some other fighters may take the place of one of these guys' names and push them to the back burner. And now everybody waiting on another type of fight to happen because they stay tired of that fight, or that fight is not. They look at it like, man, that fight is not gonna happen. The Mayweather Pacquiao thing, even when that fight did happen, it was a dull fight. Look at these fights. These fighters right here, they're willing to fight, and attention may be on something else. That's why I said boxing is a fluid. It's a fluent type thing, man. You can't have no you can't have no schedule in boxing. It just don't work like that, man. When the fight is hot as on the table, take it. Like I said, that Mayweather Pacquiao thing was unique. That was a unique situation, y'all. That is not going to happen no time soon again. That was very, very unique. You know what I'm saying? And it took, you know what I'm saying? It took a lot of people to make that happen. It took a lot of facets to make that happen. And Errol Spence and Terence Crawford need to happen either this year or next year. It need to happen next. It needs to happen no later than next year. I don't care when it happens next year. It needs to happen no later than next year. Period. Point blank, man. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence need to stop talking. Listen, we all know boxing has is a business to a certain extent. We all know that. Keep that stuff in the back burner. Just talk about fighting the right fights that people want to see. We don't want to hear about other side of the street, A side. At least I don't. Uh, Promoters not promoting somebody right. I don't want to hear all that stuff. I don't care about none of that stuff. I want to see the Warriors get in the ring and see who the best is. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Hybird 95. Thanks for coming